So now we come to the last part of the plenary session this morning, and it's a very interesting and exciting part of it. It's the presentation of the Together for Biodiversity Awards, and I'm going to call on Kieran Flood from the Irish Wildlife Trust to tell us about the awards and to arrange the awards themselves.
Thanks, Kieran. So, I'm Kieran Flood from the Irish Wildlife Trust, and we were involved with running a project called the Together for Biodiversity Awards. So the Together for Biodiversity Awards were a chance to recognise all the fantastic work being carried out across the country to help save biodiversity. So lots of great work being carried out by groups, from community groups, schools, farmers and landowners and businesses as well. So got some shiny envelopes. So we'll be doing the awards now, but just first to tell you a little bit about the competition. So it's part of this conference, so it was an initiative of the conference organisers, so thank you to the department and the MPWS for that. The Irish Wildlife Trust has been delighted to deliver this project and to engage with all the fantastic groups around the country. So there was a number of different categories for large community groups, smaller community groups, category for schools, all the great work they're doing, categories for individuals, just passionate individuals, landowners, advocates doing work out there to raise awareness. We had a category for people working in farming conservation projects, such as life projects, and then also a category for businesses working to help save biodiversity. So it was a good field. We got lots of entries from across the country. The distribution was vast. It was all over Ireland, from the Beara Peninsula to Belmullet to County Tyrone. And the sort of people that engaged and applied were community groups, as tidy towns, community gardens groups, beekeepers, residents associations, large and small businesses, as well as farmers and individuals and schools. So it was a great response. The sort of work that was carried out by these projects covered lots of different areas. I'll just give you a little example quickly. So it was working on habitat conservation, habitat creation, species conservation, and then awareness. So there were the different aspects. Some work included, for example, managing and helping save native oak woodlands. Lots of pollinator habitat creation, which is great. Working on river conservation. Even some groups were very aware of the importance of the soil microbiome, which was very interesting. And some of the more species-specific projects worked on corncrake conservation and the freshwater pearl mussel. So really important habitats and species involved the groups were working on. So that's the overall. And now, so the finalists, we have 18 finalists from throughout those categories, and they've all been good enough to come here today from far and wide across the country. And you can meet them all as well. So after the award ceremony, we'll all be outside just near the coffee. You'll see the boards up there. You can get a chance to talk to the people who did all this amazing work and look at their images there and find out more about the projects. So some of the things that the finalists did, first of all, I suppose they applied and they were shortlisted. And then most of the categories went to a public vote, and there was great engagement with over 25,000 individual votes online for these different projects. So the finalists here today made it through that process and are now here with us, which is great. So some of the work done by finalists involved working on red grouse conservation, community gardens, corncrake conservation, high nature value farming, so all really important areas. And then just one more thing for them, one more kind of hurdle on their journey here. They were judged by a panel of experts made up of representatives from the National Parks and Wildlife Service, the National Biodiversity Data Centre, the Irish Forum and Natural Capital, the Irish Wildlife Trust, and Dublin Port Company. So a very good panel. And now, so that's it really. We've managed to get them all here today, and we're just about to sort of announce the prize. So for winners, the category winners get €2,000 to spend on biodiversity projects, and the runners-up will get 500. So it's quite generous. And on that note, I would like to thank everybody who made this possible. So the project was funded by a Dublin Port company, so with their generous support, we were able to give this money to these projects. I'd like to thank our judges, Liam Lysit, Jane Stout, Annette Lynch, Billy Flynn, and Adele and Charlie from Dublin Port. So it was a group effort. And I'd also like to thank, again, the organisers of the conference for giving us the opportunity as a wildlife NGO. We're delighted to be involved in this project and for making this project happen. So thank you again to the department, to the National Parks and Wildlife Service, and the Irish Forum and Natural Capital. So these awards have shown us the amount of work being carried out across the country, and it's fantastic to see that all the different sectors, business, community groups, farmers and individuals, schools, they're all doing their bit. I feel it's a call to action for us all, and we all need to take urgent action. So on that note, I will finish. And I'm delighted to invite the Chief Executive of Dublin Port Company, Eamon O'Reilly, and the Minister for Culture, Heritage and the Gaeltacht, Minister Madigan, to the stage to present the awards. Thank you.
If you handle it, yeah. Thanks very much, Kieran. We're delighted to sponsor these Biodiversity Awards, really as a public indication of our commitment in Dublin Port, however belatedly, to do the right thing by the natural environment as we develop and operate the port. So for any errors I made working from the speaking notes, the errors of the inexpert, I apologise in advance. There's 6 categories, and the first category is People Together for Biodiversity Awards Small Project, and there's 3 finalists. The first finalist is Carrigaline Tidy Towns from County Cork, with their project Carrigaline Tidy Towns commitment to the All-Ireland Pollinator Plan, through which they've created new pollinator habitat in the town and strove to make the whole community more pollinator friendly through their awareness work. The second nominee is Ballyslachvar Vélán Virhead from Balmulla, County Mayo. With their project, it's all about the bees and the seas. Through this project, they've managed the town and its surrounding area on the Balmulla Peninsula in a pollinator-friendly manner through grassland management, habitat creation, and awareness work with conservation NGOs, as well as promoting research into their very local, very rare species of bee, the great yellow bumblebee. And the third nominee is Tipperary Tidy Towns Group, discovering the wildlife of the River Ara in Tipperary Town. And the project saw school children from 8 schools experience the wonders and importance of freshwater ecology firsthand through field trips involving sampling of aquatic invertebrates, combined with classroom-based learning and other riverine wildlife recording. Now, an Oscar style, the winner is Ballyslachvar Vélán Virhead. Moving on now to the People Together for Biodiversity Award large project. Again, we've got 3 finalists. The first finalist is the John Sullivan Resource Centre from Clane, County Kildare, with their project involving the creation of a biodiversity garden within the grounds of the Resource Centre, featuring native trees, pollinator-friendly planting, a wildflowers meadow, as well as a pond habitat. The habitats are observed to support a wealth of aquatic and terrestrial insect life through the recording effort of the group. The second nominee is the Moore Communities Council CE scheme, the Ballydangan Bog Red Grouse project. This group undertook extensive habitat management of Ballydangan Bog to promote red grouse and curlew populations. They sought to protect the raised bog habitat while promoting the cooperation, participation and commitment among local conservation rangers, landowners, land managers and other stakeholders. And the third finalist is the Newbridge Tidy Towns Association for their Liffey Linear Park Pollinator and Biodiversity projects. And this project involved the creation of a biodiversity-friendly linear park along the banks of the Liffey in Newbridge Town, with conservation actions for bees, bats and native woodland, as well as community outreach events. And the winner of this second award is the Moore Community Council CE scheme for the Ballydangan Bog Red Grouse project. Our third category is the Local Biodiversity Champion Award. The first finalist is Patrick Fahy, nominated for his work promoting biodiversity with Westport Tidy Towns. Patrick has been promoting biodiversity conservation in Westport through his work with the local Tidy Towns group, which includes helping create a wildflower meadow and pond habitat, as well as carrying out awareness work with the local school students and local residents through a pollinator-friendly garden competition to encourage residents to rethink their planting. The second nomination is for Fergal O'Quinnegon for his project Anatlan Dúla an Trainee Quinnegon. Fergal's work is involved in managing his 25-acre farm in County Mayo, lots of Mayo, for biodiversity. With the focus on curlew conservation, he created special curlew habitats such as nettle beds. In 2018, 6 early calling male corncrake were present and several hen corncrakes with chicks were seen. The third nominee is Tommy Early, nominated for sharing the biodiversity on his farm in Roscommon. Tommy runs an organic farm that contains raised bog and mature native woodland, as well as being home to marsh fritillary butterflies. He raises awareness of biodiversity by hosting events to share the biodiversity of his farm with other farmers, social farming schemes, school groups, as well as conservation NGOs. And the winner is Tommy Early. Okay. Halfway there, and now moving on to the Learning Together for Biodiversity Award. The 3 finalists, or the 3 nominees for this award, were St Saviour's National School from Rathdown, County Wicklow, with their project Woodland Biodiversity Restoration and Sensory Garden. This saw a team of parents, staff and children all engage with biodiversity and working together to create a sensory garden and woodland interpretation trail in the school grounds. The second finalist was St Coleman's Community College from Middleton, County Cork, with their project Biodiversity in Our School and the Wider Community. The students of the secondary school in Middleton have worked tirelessly to call for better biodiversity protection by advocating locally, in the Oireachtas and at EU level, as well as engaging conservation NGO groups. They also found time to create biodiversity habitat through tree planting and nest box installation. And the third finalist is Gaelscoil Carrigaline from Carrigaline, County Cork, with Butterfly Garden. Tíorna Bhéilacán. This school created a beautiful butterfly garden in line with the actions of the All-Ireland Pollinator Plan, thus creating much-needed habitat and raising local awareness for the importance of pollinators. And the winner is St. Coleman's Community College, Middleton. Moving on now to the Farming Together for Biodiversity Award. The first finalist in this is Oliver and Pat Nagel, working within the Burren programme. Oliver and Pat have completed many conservation actions through this programme, such as improving targeted grazing through traditional wall and gate maintenance and protecting water sources. The second finalist is John Foley, working within the Kerry Life project. The project focused on sustainable land use management for the conservation of the freshwater pearl mussel. John has managed his farm to protect pearl mussels through actions such as fencing to exclude cattle from watercourses, drain management to intercept sediment, and herd management to reduce nutrient input. And the third finalist is Mícheál Quinila from the Aran Life project. The project focused on the sustainable management of the priority terrestrial habitats of the Aran Islands. Mícheál has managed his farm to improve the condition of the calcareous grassland present through grazing and vegetation management, and this has resulted in observed habitat improvement. And the winner of this award is Oliver and Pat Nagel. We come now to our sixth and final award, and this is the Working Together for Biodiversity Award. The first finalist is the Burren Nature Sanctuary for their work on the Burren Botany Bubble. This is a national collection of Burren flora maintained in a nature sanctuary made up of multiple habitats and open for the public to visit to learn about Burren diversity. The business model both protects and promotes the diversity of the Burren. The second nominee is Gas Networks Ireland for their Biodiversity Enhancement Programme, which aims to manage Gas Network Ireland's network of sites for biodiversity. The work involved a pilot study in one of their large sites, trailing biodiversity-friendly management such as pesticide reduction, while also carrying out research on the effect of the biodiversity actions through collaboration with Trinity College. The scheme also involved the engagement with employees throughout the company with biodiversity conservation. And the third and final finalist is ABP Food Group for their Nurture Nature programme. This programme took action to develop land at 5 of ABP's Irish sites into wildlife corridors. It involved the planting of nearly 4,000 native trees, as well as the creation and preservation of wetland habitats at multiple sites, and the promotion of natural regeneration of native plants on these sites. And the winner of this final award is Gas Networks Ireland. Absolutely.
And just one more thing to say is that was the winners you got to see, but everybody is outside. So just through these doors, you get a chance to meet all the people who've worked on these brilliant projects. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kieran. Thank you to the Wildlife Trust. Thank you very much to Dublin Port Company for making that all possible. And thank you to Eamon O'Reilly for taking time out of a busy day, and to Minister Madigan for being with us this morning and for coming back later on for the meeting that she was talking about. So that concludes this first session of the conference. We have coffee and tea outside, and I hope you enjoy it. I explained earlier where the follow-up sessions are in the three venues. If you didn't catch it then, you can see it on the screens outside, or talk to one of us who are organising the conference. Thank you very much. And again, sorry, before I let it go, many, many thanks to our speakers this morning. Sorry.